Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie and today I have 15 spring patterns for you. Hello, I am so glad you could join me once again. As I said, I have 15 different pattern ideas for the spring season, and I know I am a little bit late for this video, but hey ho, better late than never. This list includes a lot of cardigans, but also some tank tops, some other really fun patterns, and because I have quite a few patterns to go through, I won't breeze through it, but I will go through it quicker than I would normally do, just so you are aware. But I'm really excited to show you all of the patterns and things and ideas that I found out that I want to share with you, so I would say let's just get started. The first cardigan that I have is the Millie cardigan by Irene Lynn. This is an absolute gorgeous pattern. You work up this cardigan in a DK weight with 3 and 3.5 millimeter needles. The size range is from 1 to 8, which is a bust size of 90 to 154 centimeters. So a really nice big range with a positive ease of 7 centimeters. This cardigan is definitely in my queue now because of the absolutely gorgeous lace. You have an overall lace pattern, but by the raglan increases you also have some small cables, which I think gives you a really nice variation for those raglan increases. It is a V-neck and you do have buttons at the front, but the V is fairly deep and you only use, I think, 3 or 4 small buttons, which makes it very, very delicate. The hem is also not a straight hem, but a really nice scalloped edge, which I think looks really, really cute and just gives you that little bit extra detail for the garment. The next cardigan is one that we have seen and heard about it for forever, but I just had to include it in this list because of this detail. It is the Abra cardigan by Petite Knit. Like I just said, I know we've talked about it many times before, but it is such a classic and I think it has to be in everybody's wardrobe. You work up this cardigan in a DK weight and you use 3 to 4 millimeter needles, and the sizes range from an XS to 5XL with a positive ease of 6 to 8 centimeters. So it is a rather tight fitting cardigan, but it is very basic. There is no other word for it, but I think those basic pieces are the staple pieces in your wardrobe, and everyone should have something like this in it. I've seen people modify the button band from the normal 1x1 rib that she uses in the pattern to a double knit button band. That is completely fine as well. Both versions I think look really good. I guess that is just preference. Then we have this Soja wrap cardigan by Alexandra. She's known as Vale and Rose, and this is an absolute gorgeous wrap cardigan. It is plain in the back, but really nice at the front with loads and loads of lace and small cable details. I think there are cables in there. It's mostly lace, but the party kind of really happens around the waist because you make these really nice big thick ties, and when you tie them into a nice bow, it just looks absolutely incredible. You use a DK weight for this wrap cardigan as well, and you work on 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter needles. The sizes range from XS to 5XL, and the ease is between 9 to 15 centimeters. So you have a very big variety if you want a tighter fitting wrap cardigan or a looser one. The beauty with a wrap cardigan is that you can adjust the waist because it is a wrap. It's not fixed or whatever, but you can adjust it, and you can also wrap it around multiple times around your waist if you don't want a big bow. All in all, I think this looks really light and airy, and is definitely going to be on my to knit list for a really long time, because this is just so cottagecore vibey that I have to have it. Next up we have the Lucy blouse by Louisa Rieckhoff. Before, I just mentioned the wrap cardigan, that it is adjustable and you can tie it every single time. This one is already tied, which has its own benefits, I would say. This blouse is knit up in a spot to DK weight, and you work on 3.5 and 4mm needles. The sizes could be better. It's only from size 1 to 5, a bust of 87 to 122 centimeters, and the ease is 0 to 10 centimeters. Like I just said, the wrap has already been wrapped, so you don't have to wrap it every time, which does bring its own benefits, because you can just throw it on and have the same fit every single time. Now, the stitch pattern is half fisherman's rib, and I've never worked in this stitch pattern before. It is on my list, don't worry, I will get around to doing it one day, and I think that just gives it a really nice uniqueness and fluffiness to the garment itself. You also have nice big fluffy sleeves and a really thick ribbing band around the waist to really hold that wrap where it's supposed to be. Then we have the heirloom sweater by Fable Knitwear, and I've been eyeing this pattern for a really long time as well. You work in a DK weight and with 3.5 to 4mm needles. The sizes range from XS to 3XL, and you have negative ease, so it is a very tight fitting sweater. You have this absolutely gorgeous lace panel at the front with a higher neck and long sleeves. A small detail that I also found is you have 3 buttons at the back around the neck, which I think is just really cute, because you can really have some absolutely gorgeous buttons to add some extra detail. Construction wise, it mimics a satin sleeve without actually being a satin sleeve, and you have these really nice puffs at the top of the shoulders. Now, I've never done any puff sleeves in knitwear, I've only done it in sewing, so this is a very interesting feature. And because you have the puff at the top, the sleeve itself is very tight fitting, and the cuff is almost the exact same measurement as your actual cuff, which I really do appreciate, because I don't like puff sleeves at the top and then also big balloon sleeves at the bottom. I think that just throws off the balance, but with this pattern that is not the case, and the puff also is kind of minimal. So if you don't like a big sleeve, I think this could be a great option for you if you want some volume up here. And speaking of long sleeved sweaters and jumpers, I have the Veronica sweater in my queue as well by Alexandra, once again, Vert and Rose. This is knit up in a DK weight as well, and you use 4 to 4.5mm needles, so it should go a little bit quicker. Size wise, you have XS to 5XL with an ease of 8 to 12 centimeters, so again a really big range. You have this gorgeous keyhole detail at the front with some big ties. You can also have it in the back. I've seen some people even modify it into a dress version of this garment, but I think the ties at the front, they just make it look really cottagecore and delicate and cute. You also have some cable details around the cuff and the side of the sweater running down, which again gives you a little bit more detail than if it were just a normal cuff or a normal, I don't know, body, I guess. The attention to detail that Alexandra has is absolutely incredible, and that's why I'm such a big fan of her patterns, because looks wise it might look a bit simple at first, at least with this pattern, but when you look closer at it, there are so many hidden details that you haven't noticed before that it's really nice to discover those. Alright, enough about long-sleeved sweaters. Let's get into cooler things once again, and let's start with some slipovers. I have the Lulu slipover by Petite Knit. I know this is a rather recent Petite Knit pattern. You use a DK weight and you work on 2.5 to 4mm needles. The sizes are really wide. You have an XXS to 5XL with an ease of 20 centimeters. Now I know that Petite Knit likes to have a very big ease range, and I'm not mad about this. And this is also the only pattern that goes down to an XXS. Now I know the bust size will probably be just like a standard XS, but I do appreciate the really small sizes as well, because I am a petite person and normally the XS garments are too big for me as well. So I do appreciate that thought. It looks to be a very simple slipover, but I think it's very cool and unique because you do have 2 button closures on the sides. So instead of making a normal vest or slipover, you actually work flat for the whole garment, almost, apart from obviously the neck, and then you close it with buttons on the left and the right side. This is a very oversized pattern, not only because of the ease but also because of how deep the armhole actually is. So your side is almost completely open apart from when you get to the buttons. My mom has a similar garment to this. She actually bought it in a store, and when I saw it I knew I had to make something like this. So I was really excited when I saw that Petite Knit came out with essentially the exact same garments that I saw on my mum, and thought that is such a good idea to have buttons on the side. And also because of the higher turtleneck, of course you can modify the neck as always, but because it's higher in the sample piece, I think it really protects your neck against those windy days when it's a little bit too hot outside for a jacket but you don't want a cold neck. Along the slipover route, we have the Amy slipover by Sandnes Garn. I know you've heard about this many times before. Some of you might have already made this one as well. It's still on my list, I've just not gotten around to it. But the really cool thing with this slipover compared to the Petite Knit one is that it has ties instead of buttons on the side. It is a one size pattern and you work on 3 to 3.5mm needles with a DK weight. The ease is not really clear because it is just one size, so it really just depends on your body, etc. But I think it's a really nice garment because again you have a turtleneck, you have quite thick strips of 1x1 or 2x2 ribbing. You have ribbing sections, okay, and you have the really nice long ties, so you can make the ties as long or as short as you want, to have big bows or small bows on the side, like I just said, depending on what you want. So I really like the adjustability with this one, but you will be more open than the Lulu slipover because you only have the ties to hold it together, those essentially 2 flaps of fabric. The reason why I haven't made it yet is because there's so much purling involved and I just can't bring myself to do it just yet, but it will get done one day. If you want something a little bit lighter but along the vest slipover type, I have the Coffee Run collar by Samantha Guerin. This is a really cool pattern because it is like a vest but it's completely open and it has a shorter back to the front with a turtleneck. You use a DK weight and 4mm needles, and again it is a one size. The ease, once again, is a little bit unclear because it just depends on your body, because it is a standard one size pattern. But I think the stitch pattern really makes this garment interesting. It is a 18 row stitch repeat, but you only use knits and purls, so it's very simple. You can even check out the structure what it will make on her Ravelry page. In the pattern description she has the rows listed on there already. All in all, I think this is a very cool pattern, and colors I think do become more trendy. I'm definitely here for it, because sometimes you just don't want the bulk that you have with sweaters, especially under the arms, for something oversized. So this might be a good option for you to protect your neck and have the body heat at the front but not be too warm at the back. Next up is the Rockhound vest by Wool and Pine. This is a very unique and cool vest. I found this only a couple of weeks ago, but I had to add it to my queue because it just looks really nice. You use a fingering to sport weight yarn, and you work on 3.25 to 3.5 millimeter needles. So very small needles, but I promise you the outcome will be absolutely gorgeous. The sizes range from a bust size of 86 to 178 centimeters, so again a very big range, and the ease is between 4 and 8 inches. So that is around 10 to 20 centimeters, thereabouts. It has these really gorgeous cables at the front and the back, and that gives you that interest, in my opinion. It is a V-neck vest once again, but it seems to be tighter fitting, obviously depending on what you want the fit to be like, but I like my vests a little bit tighter, and you can wear this with or without a shirt. Normally I wouldn't say cables are spring-like. To me they're more so autumn, but for this vest I made an exception because of how gorgeous it actually is. Now we're getting into the tank top section, and first we have the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Design. This is a very popular pattern, and it has been very popular last summer when it actually came out, but I think this is a really nice spring pattern as well because it is sleeveless since it's a tank. You use a fingering weight yarn, and you use 2.75 to 3.5 millimeter needles. So it will take a long time, at least for me, because of the fingering weight and those small needles. But the sizes range from XS to 5XL, which is great, and the ease is 11.5 to 16.5 centimeters of negative ease. So it is again a very tight fitting garment. What I think is really interesting with this pattern is that you only need very minimal amount of yarn, which is great. Obviously if you want it longer you will need more, but I think for those gorgeous hand-dyed skeins of yarn that you don't really know what to do with, this could be a really good option since it is just a rather plain tank top. The neck is higher, it's not as high that it is actually on your neck, but it is a round neck and it goes fairly high up. And around the armholes you actually don't have any ribbing, which is different to a lot of patterns that you've seen vest styles or tank top style before. You do have ribbing sections at the hem and the neck, but I think it just looks really simple yet elegant and can be a great layering piece once again. Speaking of tanks, I have the Oolong tank by Amy Shear. I love this pattern. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous with the lace panels running along the neck all the way down to the front. You use a fingering weight yarn and you work on 3 to 3.5 millimeter needles, and it ranges from size A to J. So once again, very big size range. We like that, and the ease is 3.5 centimeters. So it is again a tighter fitting tank, but I think because of the lace at the front, it is very airy and light, and it gives you a lot of interest, especially because the lace isn't just running along the body, but it also goes all the way up around the neckline. In the back it is plain, so you don't have any features there, but I think it doesn't really need it since the front is so visual. The lace is leafy, so you have a lot of leaves in it, and I think that it does make it a little bit see-through, but I guess with lace at the front you kind of have to expect that. And the last tank I have is the 9 PM tank by Tiffany Tie. This is a really interesting top. It is the only square neck that I have for you. Most of the garments I showed you were either a V-neck or a round neck, but this is actually a square neck. You work with fingering white yarn on 3.25mm needles, so it will take you a little bit of time, and the sizes range from 71 to 158 centimeters in bust circumference. The ease is difficult to say because this pattern is actually a made to measure, so the sizes can differ as well, because you use your own body measurements to calculate the pattern itself, really, which I think is really cool and gives you a very unique pattern once again, and not a lot of other designers really do that, in my opinion. So you do have a square neckline, you do have double knitted straps and necklines, and it gives you really good coverage around the bust. And the last two patterns are sock patterns. The first one is the Midsummer Dancer socks by Sari Nordland. These socks are so cute. They have a really nice ruffled edge and lace all along the sock, and you can knit it in 2 sizes. I think this is really just a cute sock, and if you pair it with some kitten heels, it would just look really nice. I don't have anything else to say apart from that they are really cute, and I want one pair of them immediately in my wardrobe. I'm not too sure how wearable they actually are. I'm always very hesitant with lace socks and socks that look a bit more special in general, because I don't know how they would hold up, especially when you wear them with like shoes or just on their own in the house. But I think look wise they look really cute and dainty and perfect for when you go out with your friends, have a picnic in the park, and you have those socks on. And last pattern that I have is actually a set. It's the Charlotte's Flower Garden sock set by Stone Knits. When I saw this, I thought to myself, I am generally not a sock knitter, let alone a colour work sock knitter, but I need to make these socks. You get 3 different patterns, 5 if you count changing the contrast colour, but I mean the pattern itself doesn't really change, and you can knit them in 3 different sizes. I think in this set there's a little bit of everything in there. You have these really cute roses, you have some small dainty flowers, but you also have some bigger flowers, and you can really play with colour here. The colour work of the flowers goes along the whole sock, but of course you can change that to whatever you like, and I just need some nice colour work, cute socks, because socks, colourful socks, just make me happy. So those were all of my pattern ideas. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did, and if you want to see more of me, let me know down below if you've made any of these or if you would like to make any of these patterns. I definitely will a few, at least they are on my list. We'll see if that actually happens, but I had so much fun looking through patterns and finding these ones for you. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely spring, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Happy knitting, guys. Bye.